We are too dependent on technology, are words I hear falling out of mindless mouth-breathing ignorant wastes of space from time to time. I would normally excuse their words as just their own opinion if they would care to clarify exactly what part of technology they are talking about and how we would be better without it. But that would take too much effort, and these people seem to generalize with no exceptions whatsoever on initial statement. I then directly ask, what about the computers that help build the vehicles that get you back and forth to desired or needed locations? What about the computers built in labs and hospitals that help develop vaccines and cures for illnesses that are nothing more than minor annoyances to us these days? They then tend to shrug and say, I mean games and phones. So let me get this straight. We should embrace the life-saving and convenience factors of scientific growth, but eradicate or at the very least pull back on the desire for the same growth and entertainment? One pushes the other. Some people just can't seem to understand this, and some people have the strangest sense of utopia. Their words seem to desire a society where we can get the necessary facilities for our survival, but require only sticks and the occasional frolic through the field for our sole entertainment. Are we too dependent on a small computer that the majority of the free citizens have that is a swipe away from countless forms of education and spur-of-the-moment directions when needed? We were better off when we had no choice but to either take word of mouth as fact or be skeptical of everything anybody says, where charisma depicted complete and absolute authority upon our knowledge. Someone with the better gift of gab would be believed even if the words that came out of his or her mouth were complete trash they were making up on the spot. What about being too dependent on technology for pure entertainment and no educational value? Are we too dependent on video games and TV shows, which for a vast majority of people use like a therapy session? Are we to be judged for wanting to harmlessly project ourselves onto a fictional character who doesn't have the same day-to-day issues that we may be going through just to receive a slight bit of release? Are we so bad for enjoying seeing our loved ones who may live far away reach out to us just to let us know that, hey, we still exist in their lives? How can you possibly be so conceited to think that you have the authority to justly state what is and isn't acceptable for anyone else? I don't know about you, but if I get into a debate with someone else who makes a point that I don't know enough to dispute, I like having a little machine that I can pull out of my pocket and see if that person made a valid point that might just change my outlook on the situation. I don't mind being ignorant, but the difference between those who make this kind of statement and me is the fact that I don't want to remain that way. I like to learn. I like to be wrong sometimes. I like discovering different ways to see the world. I like knowing what's going on outside my little bubble. I like having my technology. Maybe if we lived in a fantasy world filled with dragons and elves, I'd vote for getting rid of anything technological so that I could live for thousands of years in a world where unicorns fart glitter, and every day at noon giant wizards flies over us and drops healthy portions of tacos from a magical bottomless bag. But we don't live in that world, do we? No, we live in a real carbon-based world filled with biological entities that would just as soon kill us than to save us. Computers help us grow as a society. It's a natural evolution to our stage of existence, and without it we would be in a stagnant standstill. Without entertainment funding education, which turns into medical advancement, we could be facing an inevitable Black Plague Part 2. Of course, there's always a chance of an epidemic in our ever-growing populace, but I like the chances of stopping multiple issues using our evil technology much more than without it. We can't just turn our heads from something just because you want the world to go back in time. We can't give up on advancements just because your brain can't or doesn't want to keep up. This planet doesn't revolve around you or your backwards ideals. We have created various vaccines and can accurately test them in a lab before risking the deaths of countless people. We are extending the lives of cancer patients and even edging forward toward various cures. We are learning new ways to create art. We are learning better ways to cast out our anger. We are saving lives and making the quality of life better every year due to that technology that you are so afraid of. You know that we can now see the general paths of asteroids within our solar system and are working daily in advancing ways to altering their course? Do you know that through our studies using computers, we have discovered a new virus in mosquitoes that when infecting a pregnant woman can cause her baby to be born with brain defects? Yeah, we're curing that. Did you know that we are now able to pull carbon from the air and mix it with liquid underground to turn it into solid stone, helping out the environment? Did you know that we learned a new way to alter genes and many elements, including humans, that can help us do a large range of things from faster crop growth to eliminating forms of lung cancer? Did you know that with 3D printers, scientists have learned how to make cheap and accessible test dummies for doctors to practice on difficult procedures that can mean life or death in a real situation? There are so many ways that technology is helping mankind that I could turn this entire subject into a full-blown series, but I'm going to stop there for now. What really bothers me is the same people that make this blanket statement often turn from me, and after a few blinks of awe, I see that they have their phone in their hands, copying and pasting some hammy misspelled meme about some terrible generalized subject such as the one they just spit out. You lazy, thoughtless, inconsiderate, brain-dead, conceited pricks. I depend on growth. I depend on you. I depend on love. I depend on life. I depend on friendship. I depend on therapy. Technology is a contributing factor to all of that, and how dare you make that ignorant, factless, tactless comment on something that you don't even believe yourself. Are you running for office, or are you just that dumb? If you truly and honestly believe what you say, then I will respect your opinion, but only if you follow through with it. Go off the grid. Get rid of your car, job, medicine, TV, electricity, clothes, shoes, and food. Go into the forest with nobody around for hundreds of miles and build your new life. If you do this, you will receive my respect. Hell, I'll even tweet about it with my dependable phone. With that, I'm going to end this video. Let me know if you have any opinions on this matter in the comments section. Make sure to use your technological device to communicate with someone who you may never meet. It's a great thing. Have a fantastic day.